I gotta get my It Fits first.
I remember Big Guy because I think he picked me up from when I was staying and brought me to Red's. Reg, you look like you're walking to the supermarket.
Now, your name says Maria, so you can change that if you want. You can rename yourself.
How do I do it? I'm on her computer. That's my wife, Gabriella, Maria Gabriella.
Just at the top right, you should be able to go in and rename yourself. At the top right of your little window. You see a thing?
Oh, I do. Yeah. Oh, I do. Rename. Oh, I see. Check that out. Okay. Yes, ma'am, I do. You know, it's funny because I'm really this inept about computers.
Well, look how much you're learning.
Yeah, I know how to change my name.
That's good. Yeah, I went back to my maiden name and I had to be fingerprinted and everything else.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. You did.
Yeah, even if you go back to your old name, weird thing.
They fingerprint people when they change your name?
Yeah. So
yeah, you gotta go in the You gotta go in the database. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in there now.
You want to hear a joke? Are we online or?
I'll stop recording if you think that's a good idea.
No, it's just a silly joke where a guy goes to court because he can't stand his name. It's been bothering him his whole life. And the judge says, "Okay, what's your name?" The guy says, "My name is John Stickle Pickle. I got to change my name. It's driving me mad." The judge says, "Listen, I understand with a name like that. What would you like to change it to?" And the guy says, "Bill Stickle Pickle."
That's a good joke. I can tell that to ninth graders.
Sure you could. That's G-rated. I'm not going to.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, I'm going to go get some more water. I'm going to turn off my iPad.
I see Thomas Shell.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hi, Thomas. How do you do?
Good, good. We met about 12 years ago at Bass Player Live in New York.
I'll be darned. Did we hang? Did we talk?
We did. We talked for a few minutes, yeah.
All righty. It's very nice to see you.
Good seeing you, too.
Everything all right in Detroit?
Well, I'm in Piscataway, New Jersey, so so far it's good, yeah.
Everything okay in Piscataway, New Jersey?
Yeah.
Do you know what I genuinely love about Jersey? One of the things I adore about Jersey? Diners.
Oh, yeah. We have plenty of those. Absolutely.
Diners. I'm a Long Island boy, and I loved Long Island diners. And then when occasionally I got to Jersey and checked out the diners there, that's an East Coast staple. That thing knocks me out. Diners. Go to a diner.
Yeah.
3 p.m., you know.
They're not hard to find. We got a lot of them around here, I'll tell you.
Yeah. So what are you doing as a bass player? Are you working in town? Are you a teacher? Are you
Well, basically, my main gig is church, but because of the coronavirus, that's been put on hold. So,
not?
But I've been, just playing at home, practicing, doing whatever I can to stay reasonably sharp. Yeah. Here's mine right here.
I bought it because if during the event, one of the things that I like to do is help people to play better, and an important mission. And so in this hang, I think that my focus will be there, and having ideas to share with any of our viewers and people that might be interested to play better. I mean, I think it's an important thing, but I'm going to follow everybody's lead here. Yours and Reginald's, and I think oh gosh, his name is my Rouse. So there's going to be I'm just here to just sort of chime in whenever it seems fitting and when anybody has a question.
Cool.
We
So
got,
how
I got,
many of us will there be?
well, I got a list of about 13 subjects that people submitted, and we are breaking that up into a 2-hour thing. So we got about maybe 12 minutes or something like 10 minutes on each subject, and we'll wait till about maybe 8:15 to get more people to sign on and get started. But we have some people wanted to know about your study habits. Some people wanted to know about tricks and methods for sight reading. Some people wanted to know about the challenges of writing and reading, how to break away from repeating patterns, that, geometric patterns that you see on the fingerboard. It's all kind of stuff that
You
most
mean
of us.
this kind of geometric? I'm going to play one. You mean like?
Yeah, right. And they see shapes. They see shapes. That's
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? And so there's some people that wanted to talk about that, but we wanted to wait for them to come on before we start talking about it.
Where's Phil Mann?
Who?
Phil Mann?
I talked to him earlier. He said he's coming. I gave him the codes and everything about half hour ago. He's coming.
Does he have your messenger? Like you and I were in touch.
Yeah. I talked to him about half hour ago on Messenger and gave him the link with the code and the password and stuff on it.
All right, I think that's great. Yeah, did you see when I was mentioning it said your text said Zoom event starts at 2. It was actually on the.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's there, written on your event. That's why I sent you that.
Oh yeah, that's a typographical error.
Yes, it is. And hell of a typographical. I hope we don't lose viewers, but I'd see. Yeah.
Here's Phil. How you doing, Phil?
Hi, good.
How you doing, man?
It was there.
Finally made it. Hey, Jeff, how we doing?
Got a song for you.
What's up, Steve Rich?
Save our gracious queen.
Kev, what you what?
Hey, what's going on?
You the man. Glad to see all y'all here.
Jeff,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're calling me the queen or if.
That was fulfilled. I mean, all us Americans have it too. We swiped that song from you guys.
Right, is that what happened?
Yeah, we couldn't come up with our own melody, so we took it from England.
Well, I'm not gonna
Peanut, what's up, babe?
What's going on? You all right?
You the man.
All right.
Who's
Good to
that?
see y'all.
Who's that?
Good to see you too, man.
Yeah.
We just
All right,
we're gonna wait for the room to get a little bit more full, get more people. Like we got like 10 in here now. Look
Okay.
like. And then we'll get started.
Sounds
Y'all
good.
feel free to greet each other. We brothers. Everybody's in DBT. Man.
Thomas Shelby, the gentleman I just saw. I don't see his face. I don't see his name.
Was
Who's
it
that?
Dimitri?
I'm here. I'm right here.
Oh, Thomas. No, another fellow was just there a second ago. Reggie greeted him. I couldn't see who it was because he disappeared. His face disappeared.
Yeah, that's Dimitri. He's not muted too. He's not muted. He's muted himself too. There you go. What's up, Dimitri?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we ain't got no image for you. That's all we hollering about, man.
Yeah.
Stephen Rich.
That's me.
Hey, Zeke. How you doing, babe?
Hey, everybody.
All right.
Hey, all right.
Daryl Smith.
How you doing? Peanut.
See you.
Peanut, what's up? What's up, Kev?
What's going on?
I'm all right.
Hey,
How about you?
Good. We need some more guitar players on here.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we told him to come
Play a
on.
little guitar.
Okay, good.
Hey,
Hey, Jeff, now you talking about some bass players. Daryl Smith is the man.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to hang in there. Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I know. I give it where it's due. I ain't got no problem giving it where it's due.
All right.
See?
Daryl,
Yes, sir.
did we meet when I was at Reggie's house a few months ago?
No, I actually haven't
No.
been able to attend any of them.
Yeah, I'm getting him here though. He's one of the ones that's too busy. so busy getting married.
Good reason. Can't hang because I'm working.
Well,
right.
you know, hey, Peanut, you let me know when you're available, when you know you're gonna be available, and I'll
I'm
do one
available
around your
now.
available. Okay, well, we could take care of that already.
Hey, Reg, we're planning
Yeah.
another all-female bass. It's a secret who we're going to interview, but we'll let you know when it's all ready to go.
Okay. Can I come?
Oh,
No, I can't come. Oh wow, that's deep.
no, yeah,
You get the all exclusive DBP players. All right, okay.
yeah. We want to surprise you all. So
Okay. All right.
Jeff, that's some interesting headwear you've got on there, buddy. What's going on, Jeff? Some sort of headband or something?
Well, I've been home.
You've joined the Grateful Dead. What's happened?
I haven't gotten to the barber yet. I'll tell you, there's a running joke. I said to my wife the other day, I went like this, and I said, honey, do I look like a beetle? And without missing a beat, she said, yeah, you look like the beetle that ate the other 3 beetles.
Oh, she got jokes.
She called me cold because I haven't exercised. I've been starting to, so I don't want my hair falling in my eyes. And
Yeah. I had that problem too. That's why I got my hat on.
Let me see. Oh, wow, you don't want your hair falling. So what are we waiting on? Are you expecting any other signees?
Yeah, I got people inboxing me now for the code. I said, you could have got it off the page. I'm just going to send it to them.
We could be that fashionably late log on. I don't know how that works, Phil, but you know how you guys, when we have a gig at 8 or 9, we start at 9, 10, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got a gig?
Good point.
Not tonight. Not tonight.
No gigs tonight. We're gigless in Seattle and Detroit, and we're gigless. Phil, what town are you in England? I can't recall.
I'm in London. I'm a London boy. So it's actually it's funny. We since obviously COVID struck and the music and entertaining just completely collapsed. You know, we refranchised everything here and took some new directions. And a friend of mine, a very good singer, she's busier than she's ever been right now, and she's been doing gigs in sheltered accommodation and welfare homes and 2 and 3 shows a day. She wasn't doing that before the COVID, so obviously social distanced it, but she's done very well. So where there's a new direction, you just have to evolve, huh?
Right. Well, I mean, everyone may have read that the virus seems to be reasonably stable. I think they'll come up with a vaccine for it relatively quickly. It doesn't, unless they keep evolving like HIV does. As a virus, they couldn't pin it down. Even then, they found a way to practically eliminate it in people that have it. So I think COVID is going to be easy in terms of time of coming up with a solution for it that we'll all just get a shot. At least in regards to this pandemic, we'll get our lives back.
I hope so.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's a restart. You know, I'm a lucky guy. I don't have fear about stuff, and I don't fear this. I know it's an interruption, but once this has been put behind us, and it will be, and then in a year from now, we'll be hanging at Reggie's basement or doing something. At Thomas's house for breakfast.
Yeah, Hitsville's still on my visiting list, so I'm sure I'll be in Detroit in no time. That's way up the league for me. I want to get out there, so that'd be great.
Did you hear the bass okay?
Yeah.
Because when it goes on, people have educational things. I'd like to maybe deal with that and everything. So what do we do? Where's our host? Hostess with the mostest. Our host, Reginald.
Reggie has a series.
Reggie.
He's
Reggie
muted.
has what?
He muted himself.
Oh, he muted himself.
Yeah.
All right.
So you've been to the basement? I'll ask that question. You been to Reggie's basement?
Who are you speaking to, young lady?
Any you? Sorry. Yes.
First timer right here.
All right. All right. Welcome.
Thank you very
It's
much.
pretty cool.
I know it.
I have to say, you know, as I'm really a scientist, and learning to play bass and being part of a bass community, it's like the most welcoming, non-competitive thing I've ever seen. It's wonderful.
That's lovely to hear. That's really lovely to hear.
It is.
Same thing. I've just Reggie and Jeff reached out for me to come and say hello in the Detroit Detroit group, and everyone seems to be great. I'm getting messages left, right, and centre now. Everyone's saying hi, and that's good.
Right.
Yeah, it's good.
Phil needs to be here because Phil is an educator. I mean, besides his professional, he plays with Albert Lee, and he's played with was it Lonnie Donegan's kid, and he's a mainstay bass player, a working name, a functionally gifted bassist who also has a focus on music as the source of education. And because of the fact that it's going to be a hang, I thought it would be nice to have somebody who is gifted and knowledgeable about musical content. In fact, for everybody, it actually will attend to all the questions that I've heard that people are going to ask. So,
Well, I'm telling you, you and Philip are great acquisitions for us to have. I appreciate you guys, both of you guys, taking the time to come around there and do this. But we've been having a wonderful time. This is we've since 11, so this is our 8th year. We're going strong.
Wow.
And we did have a surge. I thank you, Jeff, because we had a surge in new members after we talked a couple of days ago. And I was hoping these guys would plug in, but it looks like a lot of people are having trouble getting their passwords and all that kind of stuff together. So that's why I had to jump off a couple of times to give it to them in Messenger. And that's why I had to mute.
You're the boss, you're the host, so you have to jump off and take care of these things.
So the first time I did it, I disconnected. I didn't mean to do that. What's up, Tom? How you doing?
All right.
You got to unmute, buddy.
Oh, I'm doing just great. I'm just
okay. Beautiful. Okay. What time is it?
It's 3:10.
Okay, let's get to 3:15, and then we'll just we'll get started knocking some of these questions off.
Fashionably late.
Just like you said.
Yeah, well,
it's late. It's late for me. It's the sun's setting here in London, so it's.
Yeah, what time is it in London, Phil?
I'm 5 hours ahead of you. 5 hours ahead of Detroit.
Okay,
so
all right.
It's okay. But I'm used to it. I spend my entire life teaching remotely, so I'm in different time zones 3 and 4 times a day. So it's nothing new. I just hope the light doesn't get too bare, and I keep shifting this way and try and get rid of it.
Yeah, well, we got a couple of people who are in some challenging time zones. Some people in Japan, and they're 12 hours away.
Yeah.
So for them, it would be like 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's dedication. That's dedication.
Yeah, So, but I mean, we've done it before. Ain't no big deal.
Well, these world events, it's impossible to schedule an hour that actually accommodates everybody. Somebody's waking up, and just have they, if it's a Japanese event, we have to accommodate its time, and if it's a Reggie Canty event, they have to accommodate yours.
What's up, Torrance?
What's up, man?
What's up,
How you doing, buddy?
How's it doing?
You doing good?
All right. What's going on?
No, we're about to get started. We're waiting for a few people to sign on, and then we're going to get started. You can say hello to everybody. I think everybody's unmuted pretty much.
It's a good-looking group.
So far. So far.
It's a Detroit group, so I have a bass line for you guys.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yes.
I can't recognize that one.
Yeah. I taught my grandson how to play that one.
What was this?
I said,
I was a rolling stone.
Classic lines there.
All that he left was no.
Yeah, but that the data, Papa just rolling these stones.
Mr. Canty,
So,
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Since we can't be together in person,
Mhm.
is the basement in Inkster?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to set the stage and look forward to the time I'm
Yeah,
actually in the
I'm
basement.
like Inkster Road and Avondale area, just between Inkster Road, just between Michigan and Cherry Hill.
Got it.
Easy to find. It's easy to find. I can't wait till this opens back up. This is killing me. I'm doing church on Zoom like this, friends, family on Zoom like this. But I really appreciate each other a lot more. It'll be a lot tighter when we finally do get together. Everybody has something to you know.
Where's everybody else coming in from? We got a London. I know that. I don't know where Jeff is located. And
Well, guys, I got to cut out for a minute. Ivan's calling. I got to give him the code. Give me just a moment. Okay.
All right. Nashville now.
Nashville. Who else?
Near Albany, New York.
Ooh.
Here, Delaware.
I'm in Virginia.
I'm Detroit.
Southfield.
Southfield, Detroit, Michigan.
Piscataway, New Jersey.
Welcome.
That's nice. Technology.
Yeah, right.
Where are you, sir? The gentleman that just said that's nice.
I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
You're in Detroit. Okay.
You Detroit guys are hardy because I grew up in New York and I couldn't stand the cold.
Really?
Detroit is a whole other country, man. When it comes to December to March, you guys are tough.
Yeah, it gets rough here, but you get used to it.
Yeah, I guess. I'm impressed, actually. I think actually there's a town called Edwardsville. I think it's in Ohio, actually. And years ago, I did a concert there at a college at Edwardsville.
Okay.
I remember this very clearly. And the guy dropped me off. He said, just go in that door over there. I'll go here and park the car. And I got out of the car, and the cold was so stunning.
Wow.
I actually was a little bit in shock from it. New York cold as ever, and the gentleman from Jersey ought to validate this. It can get cold, but it's a slight, Long Island sound, watery kind of. It's not the brittle, bitter that you guys experienced, and that was a stunning cold. That Midwest cold that you guys endure is I guess the word is sobering.
That it is.
Yeah,
It'll
I
keep
live
you
more
awake
inland,
out there.
but yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've been in New York on those cold days like that you mentioned, and yeah, that wind and it goes down streets in between the skyscrapers and all of that.
That is the worst. How? That's right. You can't wait to turn the corner where the wind won't blast you.
Yeah, that's right.
One thing about Michigan, you get all the seasons in one day sometimes.
Oh yeah.
That's
you don't like the weather. Don't like the weather. Wait 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, Michigan is interesting. It can be a change in no time. You get up in the morning and snow on the ground. Then by the time, late morning or early afternoon, maybe it's raining. Then 3 o'clock is sun out, and there's not a cloud in the sky. And the next thing you know, it's huge windstorms. The following that, it's crazy.
You guys are going to need graphite truss rods or something, that sort of fluctuation.
Yeah, that's why I like Steinberger guitars.
Is that what it is?
That's right, Steinberger.
Graphite neck, I don't bother with changing it all the time. You can't stand changing and adjusting necks all the time. So the graphite neck is just a wonderful thing.
Tell me about it. I have a modulus with a graphite neck.
There you go. I'm looking at. I want another guitar, but I'm really looking at a Strandberg right now because I really like headless guitars. There ain't no one making graphite.
Those are nice.
I want to check it out. I haven't tried one yet. Not really. I messed with a 7-string at Guitar Center before all this COVID stuff took place, but a 7-string was uncomfortable for me. My hands are small, so but the guitar was so light, ergonomical, and everything. But they call the Enduro neck was a little odd for me. I'm not sure. The jury is out.
Even impractical as a bass player. I know it's a popular instrument, but at least generally speaking, I can't recall, you guys can advise me who I'm missing, but I can't recall any 7-string bass player that made use of it, meaning that it made it a uniquely necessary instrument.
Okay, hold on. Before you go too far, I play guitar. I don't play bass.
Okay.
So that's I have a 5-string bass, and that keeps me. My hands
has value, the low B.
Yeah, but as far as 7-string guitar, I have a hard time. I have one, but it's a little odd because my hands are so small. So make do with
the closest. Sorry, the closest I'd seen with that is like a Chapman stick or something where it's not exactly a bass, but utilized in that way.
What's up, Ivan?
Used to hang out with Emmett.
Oh, he's muted.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, look, before we get started, I just want y'all to know that it was 10 of us in another room and wondering where y'all were.
Oh.
There's a link on the Detroit Bass Players page, and I guess we all pushed that, and as a result, 10 of us were there together, and I explained it to them, so they're going to try to figure out how to get here. The only one I see from that page is Lynn.
Yeah, hi.
Maybe you're getting stuff done over there.
Oh, we got somebody else. Just Uber J. He was on the other page.
Yeah. We had multiple links, and we didn't realize we had multiple links, so I had to go and leave the meeting codes on the page for the people that ended up in the wrong meeting. Listen, got a whole segment of people that were in the wrong meeting. We apologize for that.
All right, so I'm gonna go back there periodically. It's probably gonna be a whole nother setup of people trapped in another house.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to get them over here. Y'all trapping people. We was over there like little mice. So they starting to show up now. Yeah, they figured it out. They coming now. Hello, everybody.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mary Lee, Jeff, Kevin,
hey,
Steve, Philip, Daryl, G, Tom, T. Hi again, Libby from the other house. Me and Libby.
Dopey,
yeah.
Chris, welcome again. All you guys are muted, in case y'all don't know it.
Yeah.
And Reggie.
Adam Cohen, how you doing, buddy?
Hey. And they started to show up. But anyway, so for those of y'all who worried about me.
You got a haircut, huh?
No, I'm using this as a coronavirus filter. And once the coronavirus has subsided, then I'm gonna get back to my normal self.
You'll whack it off again, huh? Okay.
Yeah. All right. Right now, I ain't got no reason to look pretty. No reason.
Don't get us started, man. Don't get us started, man. We won't finish no subject matter at all.
All right,
be nice, Riz. Be nice.
I know. We always talking about he got the face for radio. We got the face for radio. Man, you better come on with this.
Mary Lee, are you recording this?
She said she was.
She's muted. Can I? Okay. So look, forgive me for. I'm happy to see all y'all.
Well, we're happy to see you too, man. We're real happy to see you.
Yeah. Likewise, man. Good to see you doing well. It's good.
Yeah, thanks. That's Jeff, man. Thank you.
I remember fondly they're coming to get me and are chatting in your car when we were going to Reggie's, and glad you're here, Ivan. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, man. Nice to see you again. Sorry, I ain't even posted that video yet. I got a few of them to post. But I sure would, at this time, I sure would like to learn a little something.
Oh, here we go.
See, it look like you the only one that got a bass in your hand.
Well, you guys ready to start talking about some of the subject matter you asked about?
Yep, I am.
Let's do it.
Okay, well, one of the most obvious things is someone asked the question, how are you handling this pandemic in terms of your study and practice routines, and those of you who are losing gigs, are you making, how are you replacing, if at all, are you replacing that money? Are you looking for ways to replace that money? Or you maybe even using Zoom to replacing that money? So it's a completely new thing for us, and everybody's got something different to offer. Anybody got any comments on that?
I'm in touch with a couple people about stockpiling more original music.
Okay.
Finding ways to help each other compose more stuff, filter each other's composing.
Ralph. The great Ralph Armstrong just made it in there.
All right.
Ralph who?
Armstrong.
He's in jail, isn't he?
Teacher.
Through egg truck at the White House.
Did they
I'm
send
glad to
dog?
have you. Glad to have you, Rob. Yeah.
Hey, ain't seen you in a few years. Good to see you, man.
It's Joe and Randall up there. How you doing, Joe?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, buddy.
Oh, that
Hey,
was
Joe.
Joe.
What's going on?
Joe.
Now, Ralph, you'd be a good person to post that question to. How are you adjusting as far as your workload with this pandemic? Are you using Zoom a lot, or how are you adjusting?
I'm using Zoom, but I'm basically doing files.
Mm-hmm.
It's real funny. I've been pretty busy doing assignments. I'm doing a bio. I was commissioned to do not a bio, but a documentary on my life, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay.
Charles Wright Museum. Yeah.
Well, yeah, let me know about that.
I'm working on it now. Matter of fact, I was working on it yesterday. I did 4 hours, and I've been doing a few lessons on Zoom, and I'm busy, man. It's good.
Yeah.
It's because I can't pimp anymore because the women got viruses. I'm messing with you.
Yeah, but the talk I had.
Don't nobody mess with Jeff Berlin because he got a good left hook.
I heard about that. But the talk I had in the previous talk was about some of the people that are mainstays in this business actually making efforts to make this platform, the Zoom platform,
wow,
make it more attractive so we can attract subscribers.
Is that Ollie getting hit by Leon Spinks?
No, that's by Frazier. And Frazier.
Oh, Frazier, that's right. Yeah, that's the first fight. Yeah, I cried that night.
Uh-oh.
Did you?
Yeah, Smoking Joe wasn't joking.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know I played bass with Joe Frazier one afternoon?
Wow.
And his band and his
Hold
group.
it. Hey, can I say this? My sympathies to you. Because he used to sing that "Don't Let the Green Grass Fool You." What was that? That old tune, Wilson Pickett. Don't let the green grass fool you.
Yeah.
What did Joe have to say about your tribute to him?
I played it for him, but he didn't respond. It didn't register, but he did he was doing a Knockouts record.
Hey, Peanut.
What's going on, Teach?
Oh, I'm hanging. I just got in from my walk. I just came in.
Okay.
Yeah, went out to Belle Isle.
Yeah, we got to get back together so I can get some more upright instruction.
Okay. I'm sorry, we cut Jeff off. I'm
speed.
sorry, Jeff.
I got to get with you so I can get me upright.
No, Jeff. Okay. We cut him off.
Just get me one.
Yep.
Oh, they got about 1 billion of them. You can find them anywhere.
That'll give me something to work on.
Discussing, Reg, what was it that you had asked earlier?
Just how everybody's adjusting to this new pandemic when their gigs are shutting down. How are they creating more income? Some are using Zoom to do it, but like the talk that I had with a few people on the Berkeley talk was organizing people to perform on Zoom in different locations, but there was a latency problem with doing that, and somebody came up with the idea of having a closed caption at the bottom with like eight bars at the bottom with a cursor, so everybody knows exactly where you are, and then when the files come together, they'll all be quantized. But the next bar doesn't show up until you arrive at the next bar, so they have to have a way to show that next bar before you get to it. And once that, because I've seen people do it, I don't know if they're using an interface. I was waiting for one guy who did a real good a video like this on Zoom with 4 people in different locations. I was going to ask him how he did. He hasn't showed up yet.
Well, how do you do it there, Ralph?
I'm sorry, what did you say now?
Have you actually recorded with people in different locations simultaneously?
No, I haven't done that. They just sent a file, and I put the bass on the file.
Okay, yeah.
That's pretty much what I've been doing. They'll send me an MP3 and I just put it in and record to the track and send it back to them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn, I was trying to think who was talking. That's Peanut.
Yes, sir.
My man, how's Martha doing? She called me about a month ago.
Oh, she doing good. I talked to her last week.
I think it was on my birthday I talked to her. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she doing all right.
Good.
I see Stick and Butch Ford out there. How you guys doing, man?
Hey,
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
That's good, bro. It's good to see you.
I was just
FaceTime.
Yeah, the only thing I know I know how to do is put things on Facebook. That's the only audience right now. So I don't know how people have told me to do it on YouTube. I don't know how to get it out to an audience like that. I don't understand it, but I do on Facebook.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. I'll show you how to do it.
Yeah,
okay.
That's an easy fix.
Well, thanks for letting me join and listen to you guys. It's pretty nice. Yeah.
It's good to have you, man. You know, all these people have been talking to a piece of paper or to a screen on, and I get to see your face. This is cool.
Yeah,
Who's this Terry? Is that Terry Washington?
I'm sorry.
I see Terry down there, but he's muted. Is that Terry Washington?
There's a whole bunch of people named Terry.
Yeah, I see a Terry here, but it doesn't. There's no image.
They probably in the other room.
No, they ain't. They can't be here if they're not in there. If they're in the other room.
He just must have his video off.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. What's up, Terry? Are you there, Terry? I see he's unmuted. Maybe he just don't want to talk.
It is. His video and his mic is off, probably.
Yeah, I see DC Washington. What's up, Derek?
His mic is off.
Okay. They texted in. They saying hello to everyone.
Oh, you can chat too.
Hey,
Yeah,
how's everybody doing? Everybody doing all right?
We're doing good. We're doing good, bro.
Good to see each other.
That's
Right,
Terry
go.
Silver. That's Terry Silver, Reg.
Oh, okay. I don't see no face. I still don't see no face. What's up, Terry? How you doing, man?
Turn your mic on, Terry.
Can't nobody, Mary Lee, can nobody hear you? You muted.
Yeah, you need to turn the mic on.
What?
His mic is on. I'm trying to be quiet. Sorry. Just listen to y'all because you're so funny.
Well, thank you for putting this together, folks.
You're welcome.
She's a new administrator with the Detroit Bass Players because she pulled this off, the very first one since the coronavirus, and it was all women.
Yeah. They told us we couldn't come.
I said we're
Is it-
having another one, but it's a secret until we release
No, it's
it.
a secret.
It's a
Well, it ain't no
secret.
secret no more. You just told us about it.
We didn't tell you who we're interviewing yet, did we?
Oh, okay. All right.
Or
I got
how
you.
to get there.
I got an idea who it is, though. I got a good idea who it is. I won't spoil it for everybody.
So they interviewed the great Marion Meadows, who I've been trying to interview her for.
You mean
Marion Hayden?
I mean Marion
Hayden.
I mean Marion.
Marion plays saxophone, live in Phoenix.
Right. I actually know him too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's why I made a mistake and said his name. But thank you for that, Mary Lee. So I made an administrator on the Detroit Bass Player page, and Lydia moderator. And whose dog is that? I'm just nosy.
It's my dog. It's my dog.
So look, I don't know who all you people are, but
I'll put him on mute, maybe. Huh?
But I would like if everybody could just introduce themselves. You know, the more people we have, the longer it's gonna take. But could everybody just introduce themselves so I can know who here? You know what I'm saying? I hate to wait till it's over and then say, "Oh, that was so and so." You know what I mean? So I don't know. Do you guys have the same picture format as me with Mary Lee at the upper left hand and Chris Snyder at the bottom?
No, it wouldn't work that way.
I think I do as far as
I do too.
Pictures.
Looks like gallery view.
Yeah, just call people out.
Yeah, just call them out.
Well, if you're in gallery mode, you can scroll through and see everybody's picture.
Right.
Yeah, I just call them out, Mary Lee.
Okay. Hoover.
Hi, I'm Joe Hoover. I'm living in Macomb, Michigan. I've been playing bass very badly for probably about 45 years. It's just a pleasure to be with you guys and lurking on Facebook.
Thanks.
Okay. Hunter.
Hi, I'm Daniel Hunter, bassist outside of Ann Arbor. I've been playing for close to 13 years now. Just really excited to finally be able to come to one of these events.
Glad to have you, Dan.
Thank you.
Okay, Steve Rich.
Hey, I'm Steve. I live in Dexter, Michigan. I was born in Washington, D.C. I work in Ann Arbor, Rochester, Detroit, all around. I miss driving around this beautiful part of Michigan. I've been playing bass for 40-something years, along with guitar and singing and other things. And I've been involved with this group for 1.5 years or so, and hope it keeps going on forever.
Yep. First time I met Steve, he got me a gig. I love that brother.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Hey, let's keep going. Who else?
Okay, Tom. Tom Pendleton.
Hi, I'm Tom Pendleton. I'm from Dover, Delaware. Played as a kid, picked it up again about 6 years ago after a 30-year hiatus, and just loving the life.
Thanks. Daryl Smith.
Hi, how everybody doing? My name is Daryl Smith. Everybody calls me Peanut. I've been playing for over 30-some years now, mostly with a lot of Motown acts. And Ralph Armstrong was my instructor. Great.
Very cool.
Oh.
Right, Philip.
Sorry, Peanut. Yeah. I'm the guy with the funny accent in the group. I do apologize, guys. For those who don't know me, I'm Phil Mann. I teach on Scott's Bass Lessons. I write for Bass Player magazine, Bass Guitar magazine. I'm a bass tourist, adept for Van Morrison, Albert Lee, Steve Morse, Leo Sayer, and I was taught by that strange gentleman to my right wearing a hairband called Jeff.
Cool. Good to have you, Phil. It feels like the bass mafia here. I feel like a made man. Now we got one of our own.
Okay, Kevin Edwards.
I'm a guitar player. Sorry, I'm not playing
Don't
bass.
apologize. Don't apologize.
But I have the Metro Detroit Guitarist Group. Been playing. Lately, I've just been doing a lot of recording in my studio. So that's about it.
We should arrange one of these for both groups.
Yeah,
Kevin.
yeah, we can do that.
You set it up, and I'll promote it over here. We'll do exactly what we're doing here right now. Might be some gigs pop up out of that. We're in the same area.
Sounds good. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. T.
Dimitri, I see you now.
T. It just says, I can't see everybody's pic. T's iPad.
Oh, how you doing? My name is Torrance Carey. I play guitar as well. It's like Kevin. And I've been playing for a long time. And I'm just I have a full-time job. I'm not a full-time musician yet. But I'm just getting through the coronavirus like everybody else, practicing a lot more. Now I have more time. I'm kind of on a part-time basis working from home, but it's been good. And I'm glad to be a part of this group. I'm glad that Reggie and Ivan had invited me probably about 6 years ago. And as a result, I actually got a really good gig out of it playing with Michael Henderson because of Reggie.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. So you're very modest, man, because Michael asked me for something very specific, and I didn't have to go, but the one person, and he said, I showed it to him. He said, "Yep, get him." That's how that happened. That's just how that went down.
That's cool, man. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Hey, Torrance, tell him who your cousin. Tell Ralph who your cousin is.
Delbert Nelson.
Oh, Lord, Baboon. Delbert is, hey, Delbert is going to be on my next recording.
Oh, very cool.
Him. Yeah, he's one of the greatest. He's the last of the Motown tenors, man.
Who is that, T?
He can blow.
Who is that, T?
Good.
Delbert Nelson.
Okay.
He's excellent. Right. Yeah, buddy. He sung at the Aretha with me, with James Carter. We opened for Kenny G last summer.
Okay. It's sad me and Delbert never got together to play. I remember when I was a little kid, Delbert would have his keyboard and sing and all that, and it was always fascinating me at that time, but whatever reason, never did get a chance to do anything with him. But because of my cousin, though, I got a chance to meet Kevin. And like it's a small world. Kevin Edwards, I was blown away by the things getting together with him. He introduced me to Jerome Ali. I was like, man, I was in heaven hanging out with those guys. It was just a great place. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a wonderful person. Great music, great vocalist.
Yeah.
Ralphie, you're up.
What do you want? Okay, let me see. I'm hitting the buttons. Yeah, my name is Ralph Armstrong, and I'm old.
You ain't that old.
I got a jar full of Viagra in my medicine cabinet.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
I got some of Frank Zappa's mustache clippings in a drawer. And I've been blessed. I'm enjoying myself. I've been blessed to work with all these crazy musicians. And right now I'm enjoying myself. A lot of good stuff. I've been working with Warwick, bass out of Germany. And I just got my own model done last year. But it's got to be, yes, it's too heavy though. It's some quirks in it, and we're working it out. But I've been blessed to be with about 7 amplifier companies, and I'm still waiting for Ampay to get back.
Okay.
But
man, I'm gonna try to marry
that because my mouth is dry, because I haven't been around a woman in 2 months.
Oh wow.
It's bad. My lady friend just got tested. I got tested the other day, came back negative. The lady stuck the straw in my nose. I said, damn, that felt good. Can you do the other side? She started cracking up. That test ain't nothing, man. Everybody get tested. This is really good.
Okay.
Because my lady friend coming by next week, she got her test, and we're going to test each other out.
Boy.
Back to the base.
You ain't gonna never change, bro.
Oh, I know. I gotta laugh. You know who got me like that? Two SOBs in the music business got me like this, and that was Frank Zappa.
I can believe that.
Eddie
I can believe the Zappa.
And Eddie would crack jokes, all the time. And it's good to laugh, but you look at the way the world is with this leather-faced president we got. You know, so you gotta laugh sometimes.
You gotta
True.
laugh.
Gotta
Ralph, I think I saw you with Mahavishnu back in the 70s at the Roxy Theater, Northampton, PA. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Narada Michael Walden was the drummer, and I remember they turned out all the lights and burned incense and had a moment of meditation before.
That's right. Sure did.
It was awesome.
You want to hear a funny
Absolutely awesome.
story?
Yeah.
I got to tell you guys a funny story. I never forget this as long as I live. And I want to tell you something. I'm working on a project with Narada. And I've been busy working on this thing, man. And it's just a blessing that I can't tell you guys all about it. But when it comes out, you're going to be like, wow, these cats are back together again. So it's some stuff brewing on the horizon right now. And I just did a recording for a major, I guess you can call them rock guitars. And we're all working on this project together, and it's going to be a video and all of this shit. But that night, I remember we used to burn incense. I never forget this. We played at the Fox Theater in St. Louis. And this is what stopped me from smoking weed. John McLaughlin and now somebody gave me and Stephen Kindler some weed. We smoked this shit, and I swear to God, never again will I ever smoke weed and play music or do any of that. Because John McLaughlin was playing so much, his face was turning colors, and they were blowing weed on the stage. I was like, fuck this. And I was like, I was getting paranoid, man. And he was just playing all of this crazy shit. And by the way, I just talked to him the other day, and he's doing well. He's not doing a lot. He's sitting in Monaco right now. But damn, I just said that story to I don't know how many people, but I don't give a fuck anyway. But the thing is this, he's working on some new material. He really is, and he's doing well. And there's going to be some new things coming in the very near future. Reggie, I'm looking at your ceiling right now. Whose ceiling is that? Hey, Ivan. I want to say this, and I'm going to quit talking. I want to thank Reggie and Big Ivan, because these cats really do something for the community. They help the kids. And we could get more men to help kids. We would have a better country. What the hell you smoking, man? He got all saw smoke. What the shit? Is you on the, what the hell?
I get the
Did y'all see that?
In the basement.
What is that you smoking, boy?
Anyways,
the thing is this, I want to thank you guys for really doing a lot for these kids, man. Because I work with children, and I can't hardly get nobody to help me with these kids. And I really appreciate you two brothers. Really, you are men amongst men, really. And
see, that's what you saw.
What the hell is that? Something from Star Trek.
That's an electronic cigarette to keep me from smoking cigarettes.
What god dang, you got more smoke than a cigarette. I thought the house was on fire.
No.
Okay, well, I shut up. I'm done.
But I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. All we're really doing over here is doing something that I wished would have been around when I was coming up. Just a place for people to come around and hang out, and don't have no classes and don't have no requirements for how good you
all
are.
Doing what's right.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like how I came up in Detroit. Ron Carter gave me lessons as a kid, and that he passed something back. James Jamerson. A lot of people don't know a lot about Jamerson, but he was an intellectual, man. Yeah. He was the first cat that ever told me about the left-hand technique on the bass. You know, and he was instrumental in me getting my big break, because I never forget the night we were at the Mozambique. He was playing with Aretha Franklin's. Well, actually, he came in and sat in with Carolyn Franklin, who discovered me. And he just left Marvin Gaye, and he had this leather suit on, two-tone, looked like, I'm not going to say it, but it was out there. And he came and said, you know, I teach you about the bass, you know, the technique is so important. That's how you get the tone and the notes of the bass. and you sit here, little fat boy, I teach you to burn and just play the tip. But he actually, a lot of people don't realize this. He actually played the bass very similar. His approach was very similar to Charles Mingus. Watch the two. The hand is curved. That's a very old technique going back into the 1800s. Where it's curved. It's almost like a violin. What the hell are you doing, Reggie?
All right, okay.
What the hell?
Let me.
Do you know what color is your lungs right now?
I'm gonna call out Butch so we can get through this. We got like close to
Okay,
30
I'm
people
done.
left. Okay, I know you're not, but that's
We-
okay.
No, I am. That's good because I
We're
really
gonna
have
get back
something to do.
We got to
Hey,
get
what?
back to that, Ralph. But let's everybody.
Go ahead on.
Butch, you're on.
And
This
Jeff
is
there, Mike.
crazy. This is crazy stuff. Hey, everybody,
Hey, Jeff.
thank you first for being here. If you don't know me, I'm Butch Ford. I'm from Detroit, but I'm in Beijing, China. And I've been over here for about 11 years. I'm a guitar player, but I played some bass here and there from time to time. And basically, when I got over here, I was doing clubs. But then I met my wife here. And we started dating 2009. We got married in 2011. And that's the reason why I'm based here now. We both work at... What's that?
Does she know you're talking to us? Your wife.
I still didn't. Does she know? No, she in the bed sleep. It's like going on 4 in the morning here.
That's what
I'm
I
sure
thought.
most of
That's
y'all
what
know.
I thought. Yeah.
You know the
She's
crazy
in the
thing
bed
about
sleep.
the crazy thing about introducing everybody is that everybody got some interesting stories. I be wanting to interrupt each one of y'all. When the dude said Beijing, China, I wanted to just go in on him. You know what I'm saying? But but we can get back to all of that. Mary Lee,
Big bro, big bro.
Yeah.
We can do that on a one-on-one. It's no problem. But just to finish up, I've been over here for about 11 years now. Both me and my wife work now at the International School of Beijing. I work with the after-school program with the jazz band kids and some of the beginning kids in middle and elementary school. So I've been doing that since 2013. And all I wanted to say, besides thank you for having this, and is that one of the main reasons why I'm able to do this is because of this group. A group such as you all have enabled me. I come behind people like, that I look up to, like Ralph, like Ivan, like Reggie. I'm looking up to you guys, Kevin, I
thank
see
you, man.
you up there. Peanut, you over there, I see
Right.
you too.
Thank you, man.
All of these people that came before me laid the path for me to be able to come over here and do what I'm doing. So I appreciate all of you for that. And this
All
group
right,
is the most wonderful group I've seen on Facebook or any social media. It's the most wonderful group. I tell the students that come into the high school jazz band, all of the bass players, I tell them, check this group out. Go on Facebook and join Detroit Bass Players. Be a member of DPP because you can get so much information, so much help, so much guidance, so much advice. And it's not just for bass always.
That's right.
It's good
That's
for
true.
your life. So, with that being said, my prayers is out for everyone back home in America and around the world.
Amen.
With this virus. And I just want to say one last time, thank you, everybody. Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you, man. We've been long time for us to get around to talking, Butch, but that's what we have here. We got a organization where everybody, no matter what your position or your stature is in this game, you're as enriching to everybody else as anybody else in this group. And that's what we respect about each other. That's why this group is like it is. I'm proud of it. I'm very proud of it. That's why I put so much energy. Yeah.
Hey, Dimitri.
Hey, so my name is Dmitry. I'm currently in Virginia, US. Moved here about like 5.5 years back from Russia, where I was born. So pretty much new to the country.
Yeah.
Huh? I can't hear you for some reason.
He's
Breaking
saying,
up.
he is saying Oshin Priyatna.
Ah, that's what he said. Okay, that sounds authentic pretty much. Yeah, so pretty much I started bass maybe a little bit more than a year back. Started guitar when I was a kid, maybe 14 years old, but didn't go far that time. And it was, you know, going back and forth to the guitar, and thought to myself one day that maybe bass is my thing then. It's not working with the guitar, maybe bass is something that will work. And it's pretty much working pretty good. I feel like I'm improving myself pretty well. And I play in a worship band in Russian church. So I have some, you know, gigging still, even in these times. Yeah, so it's been great. And the community is like amazing here with the bass and all the musicians. It's just, you know, so cool to know that people are so, you know, approachable, and everybody wants to help. And specifically, I'm here because of Jeff, because I was looking into different like YouTube videos to get stuff here and there about how to learn bass, and I've seen Jeff's posts probably in one of the bass group, bass players or something like that. And it looked so controversial to everything that people say around. And I was like, why is he saying all of that? It was like an interesting point of view. And I think I even tried to argue with him at some point in the beginning. But later I realized that what he's saying requires some thinking. It's not just simple thing that you just, you know, grab and do, and without just any understanding. You need to first think about what he's saying. It's kind of it wasn't eye opener to me.
So
like, okay,
let's make everybody's intro a little bit shorter.
All right. Yeah, thank you guys for having this. Yeah.
I mean, just keep them short as you can so we can get to the stuff that you was just talking about, so Jeff can expand on it, okay?
Right.
So,
yeah. Thank you guys.
Thomas Shell, you're up.
Hello, everybody. Thomas Shell, lifelong New Jerseyan, born in Newark, raised in Rahway, currently living in Piscataway. I've been playing bass since the mid-'70s. I'm primarily a church musician, but I do other gigs as well. And I came across this group via the YouTube videos, especially the one with Ralph in it. That was too comical.
What the hell are you talking about? Do I make you laugh? What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, he's talking about you capping on my bass.
Yeah, that's right.
My
penitentiary bass. That's right. Yeah.
What that wood shop bass you got?
Yeah, man.
I'll be nice.
But yeah, I know the videos as well, but I'm glad to be a part of this. This is great, and I'm just glad to be here.
Okay.
Yeah, Thomas, I see you all the time on
Hey,
Facebook.
Stephen, how are you?
Yeah, nice to see you on here too. Yep.
All
Okay,
right.
Zen, you're up.
Okay, and I'm calling in from Williamstown, Massachusetts, the northwest corner of the state. So I'm about 40 miles from Albany, New York. And let's see, I guess I joined Detroit Bass Players in 2012, just after I won the grand prize at a little sort of seminar workshop thing at Hubert Breese. And so I've been a proud member since 2012. And this happened just before I moved to Massachusetts from the Detroit area. And I'm playing bass maybe 16 years. I met Jeff maybe 40 years ago in the bowels of Michael's Club in Boston, Massachusetts. I was a photographer.
Yeah, I
back
heard y'all talking about that.
Yeah. I met Ralph through Ed Wells maybe, it's maybe 25 years ago.
That's where I know you from.
Yeah, it was
In
right
the
after the
theater?
Penn Theater. Yeah, right after the theater reopened.
What was the show you were with?
I wasn't. I mean, I was just hanging out there. You were playing in the you were playing with Ed.
All Night
No.
Strut or Menopause or Feather
Probably
Clad?
Menopause. But then
Yeah.
you were also, I remember you also played around the piano in the lounge area at Century Club.
Yeah, I was there. That's one of the union jobs I had for years. Working for
Yeah.
Jim.
Let's introduce everybody. Come on.
Libby,
Okay.
Libby.
Hey y'all, Libby Palick Derry, Detroit bass player. I've been playing since 7th grade in a band called The Vet and the Groove and jam with some other people too. Good seeing everybody.
Good, awesome.
Okay, Adam.
So I live in the Ann Arbor area now, from New York area, and I play upright and electric to varying degrees over the years. Recently got connected with Jeff's bass education group, which is how I found out about this group. And I'm looking forward to not just the stories, but the education aspect as well, and hearing about all of your experiences.
Cool. Okay, let's see. Everybody got kind of mixed up. Hunter, did I already call you?
Yeah, I was one of the first ones.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Hi
Okay.
again.
Yeah, hi again. Adam.
Just be it, Adam.
I don't know where. Oh, yep. Okay, Hoover, you there? Or DC, Washington? Somebody go.
No, they're not there. They're
Okay,
not.
how about Chris? Chris, unmute yourself and say hey.
Hey, yeah, this is Chris Snyder from Downriver and Taylor, Detroit area. I've been playing bass since high school. I'm not sure how long ago that's been, but and still just kind of a duffer though. I play. I'm a church bassist, and I joined the group, or I heard about the group, the Detroit Bass Players, through Sean May, who built my bass for me, which is a crazy thing to be able to say, I think. But yeah, he pointed you guys out to me, and it's been wonderful. Yeah, it's like dipping my toes in a very deep pool. So that's I appreciate being a part of it.
Glad to have you, man.
Okay, Joe.
I'm Joe Aranda from Adrian. I've been playing for well over 30 years. Jeff is one of my first influences. Thank you, Jeff. Glad to see you here. Hey, you might recognize this.
Yeah, I got that book too.
Yeah, there's the book, man.
See it. Can't see it. What is he holding up? Anyway.
Chord tones.
Ah.
It's a lot of people on this. You're looking all over the place for whoever. So we only got a couple of more left.
Yeah, Eddie, you popped in here.
Hey guys.
Eddie.
Hey, I'm Eddie, and I know a lot of you guys. How y'all doing?
You're doing good, man.
Okay.
I've been playing around town for a long time, and luckily now I get to do some nice sessions with some great musicians, and I have had a pretty nice teaching practice up until this freaking virus kind of killed a good portion of it, but I'm still teaching. And a lot of you guys know I taught out at Motor City Guitar, and we're hopefully hope to get back out there again. And Jeff, I met you a long time ago through our good friend Randy Aller, who unfortunately is no longer with us. When I was playing with Mikkel, we kind of hung out and talked about boxing and stuff for a while. And that's about it. You guys know I'm pretty into teaching. Of course, I'm a big fan of your educational philosophies, Jeff. I am a music content first type of a guy, and that's about it. I'm having fun. I'm working on a record right now, and it's going pretty great. And I've got some really great musicians on it, and hopefully you guys will hear it in a few months.
Awesome.
Okay, is there anybody I missed besides me and Reg and Ivan?
Hey, this is DC Washington. I don't know why y'all think I'm not here, but that's okay. It's an honor to be with all you guys.
Where's your picture?
My picture is not up because I don't have my tie on, and you know, I just like looking at you guys. But I appreciate Reggie and Ivan what they're doing. A lot of my heroes are there, but this pandemic has not been nice to us. So I sell guitar straps. If you guys would go to my website and take a look at it, BCS.
That Derek?
Take a look at it. I certainly appreciate it. You don't have to buy one, but at least look at it and support me if you don't mind. Send it out to someone else. Tell someone over in China or in other parts of the country that you guys are at.
Hey.
I'll stop there.
Hey, I need one now, D.
Okay.
I need another one right now, man.
Wait, hold up. Let's keep going.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Mara Lee. I put my head down and just worked hard and didn't do much music until I was a guitar player. Until my nephew said, will you play bass at my wedding? And I said, yeah. And I thought, well, I better learn to play bass. So I found Ivan.
Oh, okay.
That is?
All right, Ivan, you and Reg are on, because I think we got everybody else.
No, I'm here.
Where?
Step S, Steven.
Oh, there you are.
Derek.
Sorry, moving around.
My name's Steven Steckel. I live in Pennsylvania. When I was young, I played the guitar and the upright. I started on electric bass when I was in 1975. But I was away from it for pretty many years. And in 2006, I started up again, and I've been into it more than ever since then. I'm on Facebook all the time. Whatever Facebook group you're in, I'm there. And I make my videos in the kitchen, so you might have seen some of them. I heard of this thing through Reggie's great videos on the fretless, and also I like to say Jeff Berlin's album "Pump It." My girls and I still listen to that in the car all the time. That's one of my favorites. Absolutely. So that's it. Thank you very much for letting me be a part of it.
Okay, we're almost done. Do you want to do an introduction, Reggie, or you don't? Your mic is off, bro.
Hey, how about now?
There you go.
Okay. Well, my name is Reggie Canty. I started playing bass when I was like 13. I didn't have any aspirations to do it professionally until a couple of years, and I realized I had a disposition to play this instrument, so I kind of stuck with it and went to the service to earn me enough money for school. And I went to school from 72 to 76 at Detroit Conservatory of Music, and started to do a little touring. Had my notable gigs were with Diana Ross. I did a little stint with Michael Henderson. I could have had a little stint with Al Jarreau, but he fell ill before we were able to do anything, and that took the wind out of me for a few months. But I found this group in 8 years ago, because back in 2008 I fell ill and I couldn't play for a long time, for like 3 years, and then somebody after I started recovering a little bit, things started coming back to me. This group came aboard, and I joined the group in 11. We did our first photo shoot, I think, in 12, and I'm enamored that I'm just in the position that I am with you guys now, because you bring more to enrich me than you realize you do. I appreciate you more than you know. That's and that's my story. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. You guys.
Okay, we're gonna save our special guest for last. So I'm gonna go and then I'm gonna let Jeff go. But what Reggie just said was he was a member. Now he's the administrator for that page. For those who don't know, Craig Sconey, well, first of all, my name is Ivan Williams. I play bass. I think a lot of you guys heard my voice. Ain't seen me. I used to be hard, but my hair grew. So, but the Detroit Bass Players page, which is kind of responsible for all of this, is a dude named Craig Sconey, who quit. He just flat out, he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too involved. It's too much love. It's, you know what I'm saying? It was too much work for him. So he gave the page to me, so as the administrator. And the reason he gave it to me, because I got the Detroit Bass Players YouTube channel where I introduce all the baddest bass players in the world and the beginners to the top of the line. So once he gave the page to me, I had to make Reggie an administrator, because he's like the ambassador, and you know the word bass is inside ambassador, by the way. So that's what Reggie did for this page, and I think the next time we have one of these, I'm usually what's called a moderator. When people start going off track, I'm like, come on, let's just stay focused a little bit. You know what I mean? Because people forget, they get, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing right now. So,
He's still honest.
We also made Mary Lee an administrator too, because she, during the coronavirus, she said, we can still do this, and they made it happen. And for those who don't know, I've been playing bass since 1971. And I used to be good. I mean, I used to be really good. And then I lost the passion for it through the years. You know what I mean? I lost the passion to excel. I put it that way. I can still play. You know, I toured and everything, play with a few people, but I lost the passion to accelerate to levels like Ralph and Jeff and other, you know, people that take time to practice. I don't practice. So what I do is I film and I get enjoyment from other bass players like all of you guys. And that's me. Jeff, could you introduce yourself?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Billy Ray Valentine Capricorn.
Billy Ray.
Billy Ray.
Billy Ray.
I'm that's it.
Right. So when people get modest like that, you know, bass players are modest like that. I usually come in and start throwing their resumes out there so everybody know. But I think everybody.
We have an hour left, and I think it's a 2-hour event, guys.
Right. Yeah. So, but I'm not going to do that today because I think we're here to hear from people like you, so everybody know who Jeff Boleyn is.
Absolutely. I would like to start, if I may. I'm going to jump in. First, it's nice to meet everybody. We have a good chance here, I think, to share something with people other than, you know, our little august group, but people that may be tuning in or watching. And I'll start, if I may, if it's okay with me. I'm a little bold about things like this. The COVID virus situation is ironically making lemonade out of lemons for homebound musicians, because we're not distracted by other situations where we go out or interact. By being home, we actually had unplanned opportunity to focus in on the instrument, to practice the instrument, and also not be distracted by popular style of the instrument, but actually practicing music or music content or academic content on the instrument. So it may seem a little touchy to say that the COVID virus produced a positive effect. Of course, I'm not ignoring this, but for us bass players, guitar players, musicians, it's an ironically strange and unique opportunity to climb into the bass musically, practicing it musically, and improving ourselves during a time where, ironically, again, you said we're allowed to do it. So that's sort of one of the things that I've been touting a little bit online. I like the social element of these type of meetings, but I think that we could advance and enlighten people by being here for the remaining hour to discuss how we can actually play better and do better as musicians, because really we're not gigging. We're not, I mean, we're home recording. I think everybody sort of knows what everybody else is like. I think we're pretty clear on it, and we're confined and have to make do. But the one thing that we have available is to get into the instrument. And that's my little monologue message to everybody, that while we're home, it would be good to practice music and improve ourselves. If even just for the editing, becoming a good musician. And Ivan, this is for you too, because if you're not into it, you could practice little things and musical things out of love of the instrument if it's an interesting thing to you. There, I'm done. I hope it was okay and not too forward.
Here I see 1, 2, 3, 4 that I know of instructors on here. And those are me. I usually average over 30 students around the country, some even overseas. Jeff Berlin is also a teacher. Ralph Armstrong, I know, is a teacher. And Eddie Cohen, I know as a teacher. I don't know if Joe is an instructor, but I know he works with Victor Wooten and others at his camps as an instructor. So
Phil Mann is an instructor.
Who?
Phil Mann.
Oh, Phil, yeah, Phil up there.
West from England is a highly trained instructor of bass music,
Right. Okay. So if anybody got questions about instruction or anything, these are the guys that you want to talk to. And go ahead, anybody.
Yeah, I would like to know, how do you increase your finger speed on upright? You know, I practice the dexterity exercises, skills and stuff, but I've seemed to have reached a plateau as far as increasing finger speed on upright bass. So what are some things that you can do to increase that?
Ralph? You got to put your mic on, buddy.
Ralph. Somebody turned it off.
Okay.
It wasn't me. So anyway, back to what he was saying, is that you play the 8-tone scale in every key, ascending in half steps, starting in F, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, G, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, da, 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 and then invert it until you get to the end of the fretboard, da, 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 da.
Okay.
That help you build your hand speed. Play it in every key.
Okay.
Every key, the 8-tone tetrachord.
Okay.
And that will help you. And also, if you can play 13 flat 5 chords or diminished scales, you know, well, I'll get with you on it, but there's a lot of ways of doing that, building your hands, but you have to be consistent with it. You have to play for at least about 45 to an hour to build your hand speed. Over and over. Ron Carter made me play a scale 1,482 times.
Okay.
Until it sounded musical.
Okay.
Yeah. I got one thing I want to interject, and I'm listening to everybody's, greeting and all that, but this is a question. Does anybody know where the term upright bass came from? It got quiet. Now, the upright bass term came from the original upright bass was the tuba. Because in the 20s and 30s, the bass violin was called the string bass. And when the bass violin took over in jazz, Dixieland, primarily jazz. The bass, okay, the tuba became the upright bass. Then when Leo Fender in 1949 perfected the electric bass, the bass violin became the upright bass because nobody was playing the tuba in jazz.
Okay.
So the names are time-based. Look it up, my friends.
We believe you.
You don't have to believe it. It's books.
Hey, Phil, man, are you there?
I'm here, Jeff. I'm here.
Could you answer, is it Daryl? What's
Yeah,
it?
Daryl.
Daryl, could you answer Daryl's question for him from an academic point of regard? How he might work on his technique or speed or what music he might do?
You asking me, Jeff?
I was asking Phil Mann.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's okay. That's okay, Rob. If Phil Mann would contribute a thought regarding the improvement of the instrument that Daryl Smith had raised. Do you have any thoughts?
Most Achilles heels, which come around because of things like speed and stuff, is actually familiarity. So if you're in a specific area of the neck that you're struggling with, it's because you're not used to playing within it. So all exercises, to play through all keys. That's the thing. I mean, I'm agreeing to what Ralph was saying at some point.
Hey, Ralphie.
The thing about playing in all 12 keys is obviously the instrument changes. Whether you're in the middle of the neck, you have a higher action, lower at the end of the action.
Right.
So you have to have good differentiation, diversity across the entire fretboard and range. Otherwise, that's where you get those Achilles heels.
Okay.
I got a question. He just mentioned something. He said 12 keys. I don't know how musically educated everybody is in this room, but he just mentioned 12 keys. And I always thought that was like,
15.
Shouldn't you tell people that it's 30 keys?
No, and I'll tell you.
Right. No.
No. There's a reason.
Okay.
If you take a line in C, you can't play the same line in its relative minor because it changes the notes. You can't play in A minor its relative minor because then it becomes a different line. Relating to pitch, there are only 12 key sounds that are usable. There are 15, 16 technical names for it, but you can't convert a line that you're practicing to a minor key because it's not the same line anymore. So the concept of 30 keys is a flawed academic regard because the tonality is only 12 tonalities, and I can prove it. If I do a CE, which is easy to understand, if I do it in A flat minor, the notes change, the interval changes. So I can go CE, F, A, which is major, B flat D, E flat G. You get what I'm saying? Ivan? A flat, that's 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm in E. 9, A. 10, 11 is D. And then 12 is G. So to wrap this up, when you play a line, I'm trying to think of it. Let's take what's that line I played earlier? You can't do it in A major because now it's different. So harmony relates to one chord sound only. So that's why 30 keys is a flawed concept when relating to playing music on the bass in different keys. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes, it does. But you said a relationship to playing music, but I'm saying that they do exist, right? 30.
Well, it exists, but how is that applicable as a question to you as a bass player or anybody else as a bass player? It sounds more like a Jeopardy question.
Right. No practical application.
No practical application.
No.
It exists, but you know, I'll take how many keys are there in Music Alex? 4,000.
Yeah, 30.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Okay, that was just.
You keep muting me. I want to interject one thing. What you were playing, Jeff, what I heard, the C, E, F, A, those are major thirds.
Correct.
Thank you. That's what I want to interject. Now you can mute me again.
Yeah, I had a question for our teachers out here, in regard to the question about building up speed, because most of the times, you know, I have a few students, but they were, you know, usually beginning. But what I usually advocate to them is to take their scales and use a metronome and advance that metronome by 1 BPM each day for 30 days. And I was wondering, do you advocate use of a metronome in that sense to promote someone to build up more speed and accuracy and maybe more muscle memory?
I don't.
No?
I stress more consistency and fingering. I think if you know, working on a lot of the music I've worked on, I've had to spend a lot of time trying to find a fingering that would actually improve over time in order to get it up to speed. Some of those guitar players I played with. And what I found is I would work on a particular fingering and it might end up being garbage after 3 days because it doesn't get better. I would try some alternative and I would notice a slight improvement. And then I realized all it takes, there has to be such a consistency in your fingering, both your left and right hand.
Right.
And the speed comes along no problem. I think the metronome just causes you to fall apart. And I think there might be a time when that becomes applicable if you're going to record a song at a certain BPM at a certain moment, so you could play it at that speed. First, I mean, tons of repetition. We used to talk about with Mikkel, we'd go over little 10-second parts for 2 weeks. And it would just be 2 weeks of finding a good, consistent way of doing it.
Okay.
Playing it constantly until it became second nature, just like playing any other little part, just like playing any familiar song. And I think speed starts to become no problem at that point. But you know, your third finger has to hit the same spot every single time. If you have to think about that, that's what causes lack of speed.
Yeah.
I have a question for Jeff. Jeff, how do you learn where the mute harmonic notes are over the bass? And how did you learn to practice those chords that you play when you play a lot of songs playing chords and bass notes and solo at the same time? What inspired you, or how did you go about starting those tasks to be able to do those things?
It was inspired by my interest in harmony and what I'd listened to. And excuse me, and by the way, I have to apologize about one thing. I do this on a cell phone, and I'm doing it here. I'm raising my voice 20 decibels because I somehow it translates. So I just want to apologize to everybody. Bass players are the result of little vignettes of regard. Every bass player looking in, every one of us, Ralph, myself, Daryl, Phil, Ivan, Reggie, everybody, Eddie, we all are the result of what we practiced yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before, going back to the first day we picked up a bass and started to play it. That's how I got to where I could sort of, you know, do these things, not that thing, but do these things because it's a result of.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not like I set out that one day I will be a chord bassist or one day I'll be a soloist. It kind of was, let me attempt this, and it's a stepping on yesterday's principle. That's why I like the idea of practicing content, musical content, which, by the way, Daryl, is good for technique because I don't believe in metronomes either. Metronomes are antithetical to learning because they insist on a performance. You cannot make a mistake, and that is not an environment that nurtures learning. It's antithetical to learning because the priority is no longer the music or the regard of it. It's the tempo, which incidentally every man and every woman here already has. So the metronome is a little bit of what I would call that overstated device. Phil Mann will chime in about this. But
Yeah.
sort of like,
That's right. Let me step in, actually, Jeff.
life, huh?
I was about to say, in regards to what Jeff said, exactly the same thing. I'm not a massive user of metronomes. But Reggie and Daryl, this is something that will be a useful thing for you. Both of you comment about how to practice to increase speed and dexterity on the instrument. How many songs do you play that have multiple tempos? Most of the time when you play a song, you'll be having a set tempo from beginning to the end unless you've got a drunk drummer, okay? So, so if you're gonna use sort of exercises where you're having fluctuations in tempo, a better academic exercise is to practice subdivisions. So we have a pulse which is set, now it's not to a metronome, it's just a pulse of the track, but rather than trying to increase to get to higher speeds, work within subdivisions within that pulse. So if you're playing, I don't know, earlier on Ralph was talking about ascend and descending scales. If you're playing do, re, you know, playing up the main scale and then ba-da, quarter notes, then eighth notes against the same tempo, ba-da-da, then triplets, da-da-da-da-da-da, 16th notes, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. So what happens is you're working different subdivisions, but within the same tempo. It's a much more organic way of playing because that's how you're going to be perceived with practical skills that you're using.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. So I mean, I've been using the metronome to do that, but it's basically to make sure that I was playing clean notes. I wouldn't advance until I could do them all clean. So it was kind of to build up speed, but I wanted to build up the dexterity in my hand. And that was the method that I just chose to do that. But I was interested in what you guys saw.
I think, yeah, a lot of it's, you've got to see the wood from the trees and see about the practical application. The practical application is that you're going to be using this stuff live. So if you, hopefully, if you've got a good band, you're going to have a set tempo. So what you need to work within is different subdivisions within the tempo, not trying to continually increase the tempo.
That makes sense. That does make sense to me. I wish everybody would have told me that like 30 years ago. I got a metronome on my phone. I got one. Damn.
That's like a drummer thing. Yeah.
Well, you know, so I think that's what my problem is. I worked with some sloppy drummers over the years, and it was almost to me, you know, your meter had to be real good to keep it solid, keep it tight.
That makes life difficult for bass players.
It do, man.
Drummers.
I mean, dang.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I hope that helps, Daryl. I hope that helps, man.
All right.
Hey, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the folks why it's so important to read music?
Reading music includes every element regarding the playing of pitch that exists in the world. You take a piece of paper.
Can you say that again, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm wording it out because reading music includes every element necessary to represent pitch and rhythm that exists anywhere, certainly in academic music. Here's what I mean. Think about this. I thought about this a while ago, so let's see if I get the formula right. You have a piece of music, it has a G, A, B. Eye has to see it, your brain has to register it. You have to identify the frets.
All right.
And then the very last response is to play it. So what happens with reading music, where I think sometimes people get off of the concept, because a lot of guys say, well, I don't use it on gigs. Reading music is the leanest, cut of meat, the leanest cut, all the extraneous fat, all the extraneous gristle cut off, is the leanest and most perfect way for any of us to bass guitar outside of self-taught enterprise, outside of pursuing like how we all did it, because we all listened to records, we all played with guys, and in a nutshell, that's how we all got better. But in the quiet of a room, in my particular case, my notoriety as a soloist or the technique I have is almost entirely based on the fact that I've read a lot of music that required me to put my fingers on the neck for specific reasons. And after doing this for a reasonably long time in my life, my technique got liberated, my thinking in music got liberated. So the technique Daryl was talking about, reading, and I won't go long on this, gentlemen and ladies, reading is an addition to the day. It doesn't replace jamming, hanging, listening, all the things we already do. Reading specifies notes. It specifies the mind. Why 12-key playing is so important. Why guarding other keys is important. 30 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day takes us out of the R&B we love, takes us out of the rock we love, or the soul music we love, or the blues we love, or the Latin music we love, or the fusion music we love. It takes us out of style and puts us into content. And content specifies pitch. We play pitch. It is a mind, eye, hand, instrument, music synchronization in a nanosecond. That's one reason why I don't like metronomes, because if you take it out, you regard the note and increase your temp. Everybody here has good times, so and I submit you all got it without a click. But that's another. So that's my explanation. Did I answer you well?
Yeah, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Can I add? Am I muted? Can you hear me?
No, you're not. We can hear you.
Okay. As far as reading is concerned, now my last few years gigging were absolute reading jobs, and what I've come across, and just some of the people that I play with, just to let you know, was the Platters, the Coasters, and
those guys.
Ivan, I did the Platters here in London a couple of months back.
Five groups can be simultaneously be the Platters at any given time.
Yeah.
Okay, but the question I have is based on, that's just some of the people. That's not all of them, just to give you a few. But based on the music director handed me my sheet music, this particular director, he gave me sheet music and he wanted it absolutely like it's written on paper, okay? Which I had no problem with. However, there are some reading scenarios where they give you just a chart.
Right. Right.
And it's up to the bass player to interpret
Right.
what that bass line is based on that chord chart.
That's a fun gig.
And then you got the other ones where even though they give you a written chart, note for note, they allow you to do an interpretation. Have you ran across that? And that question goes to Ralph too. You know what I'm saying? Because I know Ralph would get a gig and they just hand him a piece of paper right then and there on the spot. A sight reading gigs, kind of. Do you get those, Ralph?
Are you serious? Yeah. Hold it. I just did. Hold it. Let me. I'm listening. I haven't said much. I made most of my living, well, my pension, doing shows. I've done the Pinafore, orchestral. South Pacific, I was only bass playing with Robert Goulet in the orchestra, which had about 80 people. I've done, man, I ain't going on with this shit. Recently, I just did Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend, and I played in the orchestra with 5 basses. But normally when I get like music, like charts where people want me to do my own thing besides what's on the paper, that's normally in a recording session because they want my sound. They say, well, just, play these measures, play the first 9 bars or 8 bars or whatever, and then afterward, we want you to do your thing. Put something here, put something there. That's the way Aretha used to have me play her music a lot of times. But I'm going to tell you something about her music. She had about 75% of her music were notes, and you had to play them notes.
Yes, sir.
With Martha's book, we argued for 3 hours.
Yep.
I had to sing another key. I brought her from down the.
Just to interject on what Ralph was saying, a lot of my gigs came from being able to read. My first 2 gigs with international acts was the Spinners and Martha and the Vandellas. And I came in, they threw 6-page charts in front of me and counted it off. And you had to be able to play it. And that's how I ended up getting the gig with them. But if I hadn't been able to have eyes like that for sight reading, or as they were saying earlier, being able to interpret what you're reading, those kind of gigs you don't get and you don't keep. Because everything they have as far as shows are just on paper. You know, with the Temps, their opening medley is 30 minutes long. I never saw them the first time I played with them because the music just moves so fast going through the course of that medley. And if you've never played a Motown medley, you don't know what a medley is because they're very hard.
Tell them, brother. And you know what? I got to interject one thing. I had the pleasure in my life to work with 2 of the great conductors at Motown, and that was Earl Van Dyke.
Yes, sir.
I actually took Jameson's place in the second Funk Brothers with Uriel Earl and Lefty Edwards and Eddie Willis. And I didn't know what the hell he was talking about, Funk Brothers. And then with the Spinners, I worked with Mr. Maurice King. And let me tell you something. You had to read the music, baby.
With Pops, yes, you did.
He wasn't no joke.
He'd walk up on you and look over them glasses and you knew you were in trouble.
I'm done.
Does anybody have any ideas of how to improve sight reading or sight reading
You just
speed?
have to do it.
Yeah,
a lot of what I did, just pick up a book and that I haven't seen before and open page 1 and just start reading.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Also, if you're reading, like I did Evola, an Italian opera recently, and everything was like tenuto moderato, which is like little by little. And what really killed me about it, they wanted me to be principal, which I hated. But what you have to do with a composition is analyze it. Look at the most difficult passage.
Yeah.
Or measure
Before you
32,
get to.
they've got something like something that, a lot of arpeggios or 30 seconds. You analyze that first, and then you mark the fingering down, which the positions came from Joseph Abbe, the 12 positions in 1873 at the University of Prague.
Okay.
That's how we have our positions. That's why we play fretless with the right technique. I'm done.
Can I ask something about reading? Can I ask something about reading?
Question for Z. And here's my suggestion. I'm sorry, did I just interrupt somebody?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, Jeff, no.
I have a suggestion for, I'm trying to see your name, young lady. Z?
Yeah.
Okay.
Van Reinhardt.
Okay. I have a suggestion for you, which is, one, sight reading isn't usually achievable by goal. Means is you don't, all the sight readers that are talking here today acquired it. I'm probably speaking for everybody. They didn't acquire it by their saying, I am going to become a sight reader. They read over time, reviewed over time. See, sight reading is a result. It isn't an achievable goal determined by a certain plan. Here's what I suggest you consider. It's when you read a piece of music, page, an exercise, don't read it and go to the next one. What I suggest you do is read the exercise, read the page, and review it. Then review it again until you go, my goodness, I'm so bored with this. I know every note that's coming. What happens, go to the next page. And take your time. Don't say, I've got a sight read by September 5th, or, one day you're going to wake up, and probably sooner than you think, and you're going to discover, oh, I can get through this new piece of music. And it comes from review. So readers earlier on, we didn't read and go to the next page. Like I said, I'm repeating myself.
Right.
It's the review and doing it in comfort and peace. You can't, oh God, I made a mistake. I made a mistake, fix it. It's falling, getting up, fixing, reading, going back, taking breaks. You read until your eyes fall out of your head. And from watching other guys, kids, I gotta get this. You don't have anything. Don't swim the deep end of the pool. Get in the shallow end, it's safe, and tread water. And eventually you are going to add skill and become a reader by, I guess the word might be assimilation, the constant regard of it. But remember this, and then I'll be quiet. Reading is an addition to your day. It doesn't replace the records you enjoy, playing along, or anything else that gives you pleasure about bass. It is an addition. And always take a break when the music page in your head starts to get a little fuzzy. Stop. And then go back and review again.
I like that. A lot of what I tell my students is I try to get them to buy in to the concept.
Sounds good.
I try to get them.
Now, my trouble is I learned very quickly, and I learned my ear very quickly too, because I've got a good sense of pitch. And so
you're a candidate.
I mean, I'll read something, but then it takes me nothing to memorize it.
Well, that's your advantage. Then go to the next page. If you can
get something more difficult.
Something that Victor Bailey said one time.
Turn up.
He likes to touch the page every single day. This was
who is that?
A world-class player.
Joe.
He had all them skills together, but just to keep his eyes together, he said he doesn't like a day to go by with he called.
I can barely hear.
I can barely hear him too.
Yeah. Joe, your microphone is, nobody heard what you said.
Okay, I was saying that this came from Victor Bailey. He said he liked to touch the page every day. Just so I try to impress my my students, that frequency is
get back in that mic.
Is so important. I always tell them, like, you don't have to spend 2-3 hours a day at this. Just, even just 15-20 minutes a day, but the consistency is what helps get that together, because you're not always running into fits and starts with starting to learn again.
If I can piggyback on what Jeff said, I totally agree with them. For me, I don't know if it's the correct way. I mean, I just, the way I did it is I like looking at charts, jazz charts, and you're working with the root. And then I learned progressions from that point forward. And I got more interested in learning how to read and then looking at the little dots at that point. But it's so easier to start with jazz charts because you can see the actual note, and you can, you should know what the note is on your fretboard.
Who the hell is this talking with no face?
DC.
See who, Derek?
Yeah.
Boy, turn your damn camera on. What's wrong with you? What, you naked with a woman or something?
Yeah.
Well, cover up. I got about 19 women in this room. They all bases.
See, hopefully, Z, that'll help you, Z, on
there you go.
Start with jazz charts.
There's another question I'd like to ask you teachers that kind of ties in with sight reading, and that's do you have specific methods in teaching people how to memorize the fretboard? Because that has to become, they have to know where those notes are before they can know how to, right. They have to know where they are to know, to have an idea how to execute it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to jump in and just start this off, and then I'll be quiet. There's no effort and no need to memorize anything. That gets us to memorize.
No.
The concept of committing to memory things is I feel, a great exaggeration and a very unnecessary weight for any of us to hold in regards to making sure we remembered what we practiced. That goes to Z. It's the review that gets us to memorize. And I'll use an analogy of going to somebody's home that you've never gone to before, let's say pre-GPS. You go down 8 blocks, make a left, get on the highway, go down 6 miles, make a right, go left, and after a few of these trips, you've memorized it, and it's been done automatically and organically.
Okay.
does not have to be committed to memory on a fretboard. It was a great exaggeration of the truth of learning bass, in my opinion. I think it causes people stress. Oh, I got to memorize. You don't have to memorize anything. You have to be in it. You have to review. And the memorization is an automatic result of this.
Yeah, because that's kind of like the process that I went through. You know, we had to go through to memorize and the familiarity with the fingerboard before they would introduce us to any kind of sight reading and stuff.
Can I interject? I got to interject one thing. Are we talking about playing the fretless bass instrument?
No, I was talking about the lessons, my first lessons on the fretted electric bass.
Oh, fretted. Oh, okay.
The fretted
you know,
bass.
there is a guideline to go on for fretless instruments, and that was invented by Josef Habibs in 1873 at the University of Prague. He invented the 12 positions for the bass, where if you watch Ron Carter's 1, 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, and at the 7th position, you eliminate the 4th finger and use the 3rd finger. Okay. That's taught all over the world. Every orchestra player in the world, except those in Great Britain, use this technique.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm done.
Let me ask this. When you mentioned the positions, now when I say position, I don't mean it the same as what you're talking about, the upright, 12 upright positions. But when it comes to reading, how important is it? Like, say you get a sheet of music, windy, misty, I don't care what it is. How important is it to look at the key first? Is it important, like when you get the sheet of music, do you look at and say what key it's in? And of course, it tells you what key it's in. And does that help you determine where you're going to position your hand? For example, say the song is in the key of A. Are you going to get in position for like the A major scale?
Depends on the notes that are on the page.
I know that, but 9 times out of 10, simple songs is usually going to be those notes within that scale position. And when I call the scale position, I'm talking about the 2 fingers, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4 across. So is it important that you look at the key you're in, get in position, and then get ready to nail those notes that maybe 9 times out of 10 are going to be right there in that keys position? Is that one way to get started with reading a song?
You're gonna make a lot of keyboard players mad.
I got something on that, Ivan. When I first look at a piece of music, I do look at what key it's in, but I don't think about that scale pattern as much as I kind of quickly glance and see what the range of the music is, how much of my bass is used up. At that point, I can kind of figure out where I need to be. And of course, the chords or that scale that the chords came from are going to be right there in that neighborhood where I can encompass that most of the range, maybe all of it, maybe not. There's obviously shifting that's going to need to be done. But some songs have a great, melodic range. Some have a narrow range where you can kind of see all the notes are on the stack, or there's a ton of ledger lines above or below. And that gives me a pretty good idea where I need to be and what shifts I need to get ready to do to, get higher up or lower down.
Yes,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
That it goes back to the concept that it depends on the piece of music. If it's chart, you just rely on one's experience and with your hands. But if it's written notes, it's always going to determine how it should be played. So the music comes first, and then the position element comes afterward, I think. Right, guys?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that kind of answers my question, because I've been having trouble with I've got severe root orientation, and that kind of sometimes gets in the way of me identifying extensions and stuff like that. That's why I asked that question.
Okay. I'm kind of confused. The key signature is extremely important when you're reading music.
Yeah.
Because it lets you know what notes. Say if you're in E flat, we've got E flat, A flat,
B flat.
And yeah, B flat. I'm getting there. I'm a little slow today. But the point is, there's 3 flats. But you have to know that when you're looking at music. You can't, if you see the, if you see A in the composition, it's an accidental. It would have to be marked natural. But it leaves you to know what notes not to play in a certain in a way, or what is natural. You see what I'm saying? You go by the key signature. In the key of F, there's how many flats? 1 flat. That's B flat. So if you see a B, it has to be marked natural, because the B is flatted in the key of F.
Let's see, but I initially learned playing by ear. I didn't start reading trying to read music till years later.
Well, my main thing about all of this stuff, man, is, to me, in music, like James Jamerson, Ray Brown, all of those cats taught me, is that even Jocko, the technique is important. The left hand is important. That's like Ron Carter, and Miroslav Vitos. It's important to have good technique to get the tone. Your sound is created with your left hand, pretty much. Jamerson used to play notes that wasn't even on the bass. I said, how to play that? I just play with my fingers, to get this sound. He would play a lot of little things. This guy was really an intellectual instrument, man. A lot of people don't know that about him. He knew the bass, man. He really knew that instrument. I don't know if Nut, did you ever hear Peanut play Nut? I mean, did you ever hear Jamerson play?
Only on the records.
Man, he could play. I heard him many. I saw him play a Hofner Beetle bass one night, and I thought he was gonna break that motherfucker. He played the hell out of it. It was the weirdest shit, and he played it. He could play, man. And it's in the sound with the touch, Anyway, I'm done.
Steve Steps, you there?
Yes.
Didn't you have a question that we didn't get a chance to get around to? Because this is almost quitting time. We got 6 minutes.
Yeah, I just want to, as far as reading, like I can read, I could take a tune in the real book, say a bebop tune, Donna Lee or something like that, and I can I learned it. I figured it out. I can play it, but my goal, like in the back of my mind, my goal is always to memorize it. And that's, but you got into that later, but, and I can still read it, but say, if like some of you guys, if I was given a chart and they just gave me the chart, put it there and counted it off, that would be bad news for me, because I couldn't do it.
It's not your area of expertise, that's all.
Yeah.
It's just not your area of expertise, training, or experience. Things I can't do because it's not my area, things we all can't do. So the logical thing, I bet you could play Donna Lee right now in a few bars of it, can't you, Tom?
Yes.
I've heard him do it, man. I've heard him do it.
Yeah, but I memorized it. I wasn't reading it.
That's all right.
Yeah.
The fact that you can even play it, a lot of people can't even approach that song.
No.
Yeah.
And I think it depends on what kind of chart you're looking at. Is it a chart with notes on it, or is it a lead sheet with just chord changes?
Yeah, that's why I usually get chords or lead sheets.
Well, I don't think too many would be that intricate, but as you were saying, as Daryl was saying, if they put something of substance before me and said, "What?" Count it off and say, "Go." That would be a problem for me, because I could read, but only if I can take it home and work on it first. Which is
I got you.
Yeah.
Process, man. You just got to keep reading. That's all.
You got to do it. Exactly. A lot of it I learned
question.
from my mentors, and that's how they raised me.
Yeah. Another quick question. Do you find that transcribing helps with reading skills? Like they'll hear something you really like, or if you've got something in mind, put it down on a sheet of paper?
Absolutely.
There's something you can bring to everybody here, which kind of encapsulates a lot of people's comments. If you look at a lot of what Reggie talked about a second ago, Z, what you just mentioned, it's a lot to do with processing of information. Steve, you talked about being able to play things, not being able to play things. Can I read things? Can I not read things? If you can't read it, transcribe it. And then your reading will get better from transcription. Transcription is one of the best academic skills you can have alongside reading. There's no question. There is one thing, though, that I bring to everybody, and this is just something you can all think about. And this is about teaching academia. So how lecturers and stuff go about transferring information. And this is an academic skill which is called VARK, V-A-R-K. Now, what it talks about is how every student, anybody studying, and this could be any discipline, it doesn't matter if it's music or learning a language and that lot, they all respond to one of 4 areas, and that's what VARK stands for. So V is visual, A is audio, R is reading and writing, and K is kinetic. Obviously, that's like playing, right? So if anybody that's in the chat right now, if you're having a problem with something, if you're trying to look at a device, you're trying to learn to play ahead, you're learning to transcribe, if you're learning to, to read and stuff, ask yourself what tool you're using to apply that. Because if you're having troubles with one thing, it's more than likely you as a person will respond to one of the other methodologies. So like I said, so V, visual, that's like looking at a chart, analyzing a chart, seeing somebody else play it. Audio, listening to somebody, how does it sound? Reading and writing, that would be transcribing, reading it. Kinesis, K, would be playing it yourself. And then, so if any of you guys are having any processing issues on those things, just switch your learning path. So the way you actually approach the information, use one of the other sort of avenues, and you'll be more successful.
Okay. Hey, we get close to that time, and some of these guys only agreed to two hours. So, Mary Jane, you can take the last question, but you got to cut your mic on.
Okay, is my mic on? Hello, everybody.
Hi, Mary Jane.
You just answered. Hi, I saw you at NAM's show. If you remember, we were at the NAM show, Mr. Merlin.
Well, can't nobody tell who you are now.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yes, the tool that he just said is a lot of times I write it down, and to learn my keys or to learn all my notes and to learn everything is I write it down from the staff to what keys in, and I try to learn how to read music that way by writing it down. So
you got a question?
Well, that was my question, but he answered already with the VARK.
Oh, okay. So I don't think nobody mentioned about the fingering, because a lot of times directors of music staffs will say we're going to the 5 first, or we're gonna start at the 4. So you got to know your fingering as well. You got to throw that in there, because a lot of times they do that too, and it's not on the chart.
Okay.
Comment. Academic learning is different than gigging, playing, or performing.
Very true.
In the academic regard, I propose that people that are interested in improving keep it as simple as humanly possible, which is that a good written piece of music needs to be regarded, and it's the regard, the playing, the not the position, the not knowing what the note is, and the investigating of that is what makes us better bass players. I'm speaking for myself. I know I'm speaking for Ralph, maybe not on upright, but on electric. We were given positions, we were given music, and in the examination, that's what got us, and all of us that have this sort of fluid ability to ascend and descend the neck. It's the reading, it's the, no, that didn't work. No, surely didn't work. Well, that's better. And it's the getting into, experimenting, eliminating by decision. This doesn't feel right. You know, there's only about 4 or 5 ways to ascend and descend the neck. There's not 100 ways. May I do a quick demo?
Yeah, you're right about that, Jeff.
Yep, I
You're
think
right.
about 4.
You're right. You run out. He's right. Look, you know what? He's right. Listen to what he's saying. He's right. 4. That's right.
If I play a C scale,
You're right.
then that's 1. That's
right. Mm-hmm. And go down to the 12th position.
3. Now I'm starting. So it's starting to get limited. So position. There you go. There you go, Ralph.
That's 3. That's you're right. It's 4. It's 4.
I don't know
That's the way
if
it's structured. That's the way it's structured.
Because if there's this, maybe the note change alters the possibilities. But I know there's not 15 to 20, and I think we all know that. But for the lesser experienced, pardon me for sharing it in that manner, basis that are tuning in, there's only a few ways to ascend and descend. Being in it, get in it and examine it, and make mistakes and fix it. It's really simple. You don't have to have fingers, you don't have to know it's coming. You get in it and you read and you make your mistakes and you will grow like Ralph Armstrong did. Like we got in the pool like Eddie Cohen did. I'm sorry if I talk too much.
No, man, I've been knowing your ass for 40-some damn years. We used to fight all up and down 7th Avenue. We used to try to box me, man. I'm from Detroit. I know Joe Lewis, man. We had some fun today.
I can tell you this.
Good to see you, Jeff.
Good to see you, Ralph.
I can tell you this, Jeff. No, you don't talk too much. That's why we're here. We were here to listen to the likes of you.
Quiet, damn it.
The likes of Philip, who I just met and heard of today, and you know I'm gonna go look you up, and because that's what I do. I love bass players, and for the guitar players remaining, I love guitar players too. I love all musicians. Damn it, I love everybody. But
you love Donald Trump too, don't you?
Oh.
I had to mess with you. I had to say something stupid.
This is not a political.
I know it. I'm just joking. I'm joking.
We love you too, big guy. We love you too.
But so what I'm saying is, yeah, Jeff, you didn't say too much. In fact, I don't know how long you're gonna stay, but that's why we're here. We're here for the likes of you.
I'm here to help and in. By the way, I got one thing to say to Ralph because he referred later that earlier, I should say, that he was old. And I wanted to share something with him. I'm so old that the last time I was in Mexico, I got the walks.
Yeah, you old, Jeff.
Oh my God. I'm 67 years old. I don't know why.
But you older than me. Damn, I'm gonna have so much money when I'm your age. God dang. I get my pension next year. I turned 65 from reading all them damn shows. I can't wait. And I'm going to be doing everything I shouldn't be doing.
You're already doing that.
No. I'm old and square.
Everybody, it was an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you
all right, Jeff. Take care.
Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate you guys.
so much. Bye-bye.
I want to thank every last. I want to thank coming up today. I want to thank every last one of you for showing up today. Frank Russell, I see you back there. Got your mic turned off, but I want you to hear your name mentioned on here. You guys take care. We're going to be doing this.
You should take a picture real quick of the screen to put on your page. Everybody took a picture?
Thanks, Reggie.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you.
You take a picture, Reggie?
Somebody take a screenshot. Good idea.
Hey, Reggie, take a picture, Reggie.
Something Michael, I'll call him back.
I am. I'm gonna take a screenshot. Just
Take a screenshot and post that.
Give me a second here.
We're recording all of it.
Okay. Are you gonna post it on Facebook or something?
We're going to post it in the base site, but it won't have the names on it. So a screenshot shows the names.
Yeah, I'm taking a screenshot right now with everybody's names on all these heavy hitters in here. I just took it and I'm saving it.
Not good to be behind your line.
There it is.
I'm gonna go to Jersey and go to a diner.
I took the shot, y'all, so thanks.
All right.
Mary Jane, you said we met at NAM, you and I?
Yes, I met you at NAM, and when I told you I knew Reggie Kenty, you pulled me over to the side. We took pictures. You introduced me to the lady who did your bass, who made your bass.
Oh,
with the
Gavin.
3 different woods.
Yeah.
And you
Good
played.
words. That was Gavin's.
Who was that guy you was playing with? Yes, the 3 different woods. Yes, that's the bass. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And we hung out for a little while.
Bye, everybody.
All right, nice seeing everybody. Got to get back to work.
Hey,
All right.
Good seeing you.
care. Love you all.
All right, take care.
Good night.
Fuck Donald Trump.
Yo, Mary J. See you in August.
All right,
to see you.
Frank. It's good to see you in here, man.
How are you?
I'm doing good, brother.
Great to see you guys.
Yeah, I just saw your picture in there. You were picturing this for a little while there, but I'm glad you got you on the screenshot. We're
Yeah,
gonna do this
man.
again, fellas. We're gonna do this again. I'm gonna set it up within the next few days. Ain't nobody else got shit to do. We're gonna do this again because we should have had a whole lot more people in this room today.
But tell them I got one coming up Friday with some of the Chicago.
I posted that up. I'll repost it so it's at the top. I'll be there for that one.
Okay.
You guys, this is my good friend Frank Russell from Chicago. He
Hi,
got
Frank. Nice to meet you, man.
man. The last band I seen had a whole bunch of people from Miles Davis' whole band in it. The boy
Oh.
cranking, okay? Pay attention.
Yeah, Wallace
Wallace
Roney, and Daryl Jones and Richard Patterson. And I told Daryl, I said, we're all the same now. You're playing with the Stones, and I'm sitting at home. We're both sitting at home making the same amount of money.
Hey, Frank, I got a
So
question.
this pandemic put us all the same.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's just evens the playing field. That's all. You might get to play with some people in different locations. You never know what's gonna happen. Whatever is gonna happen, I'm gonna try to make whatever can happen.
But God bless all you bass players.
Well, thank you for showing up, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming in there.
Frank, I got a question for you.
Yes.
This the dude talking right here.
I see you.
Are you guys doing this through the Chicago's bass player page or?
No, we're doing it through Chicago Jazz Magazine.
Okay, through Chicago's Jazz Magazine.
Yeah, and they have a show once a week, and I wanted to talk to some of my friends, Daryl Jones, Richard Patterson, Mike Manson. Who else? Chuck Webb played with Al DiMeola, and somebody else. Larry Campbell. I think
that is.
Yeah.
It don't matter, Frank. It don't matter. Whatever you put on there, I'm gonna share it with the page anyway. I'm gonna share it anyway.
I appreciate it, guys. Look me up. Look me up. I did a tune with Daryl Jones and Richard Patterson together about 10 years ago, and I saw.
I got you, DC. I'll hook you up.
Yeah, I saw Stanley Clark, Victor Wooten, and Marcus Miller, and got inspired. I said, let me put some Chicago guys together.
Yeah. Okay. And you did.
Thank you.
All right, well, folks, look, that's I've enjoyed this. I didn't make the last one, but I made sure I was going to make this one. I was like, oh, wow, I can be on here and I don't even have to wear pants. You know what I mean?
Trust me, I know the feeling.
I ain't worn pants in 2 months.
So I'm getting ready to check out. Thank y'all. Mary Lee is gonna make sure that this gets video. We're gonna make sure it gets on YouTube too. You know, so people.
Hey, I also wanted to say to Z, did you get my message about trying out Band in the Box?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. That's a good thing for learning how to read.
Oh, okay.
Y'all, I don't even know how to lead. Oh, it is. Bye.
All right.
All right, gentlemen. Good to see you guys.
God bless the bass players.
All right, stay safe, y'all.
Fuck Trump. Sorry.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Thank you, Mary Lee.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thanks all.
See y'all. Have fun in London. Thanks for coming in, Phil.
Thanks a lot, Mary Lee. It's been lovely to be here. So that's good. Good night, guys.
I thank you too, Phil.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been a
I'll
lot
be
of fun.
keeping in touch with you, man.
Yes, good. Okay. Take
All
care,
right.
guys. Good night.
Okay, man.
Okay.